Sassy hair.
Hi, Amy. Hi.
Your hair is awesome. Can you hear us, honey? Oh, we can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Don't look at this mess going on behind me.
I was looking at your fiery red hair. I love it.
Thanks. I just colored it this morning.
Yay, it's so cool. You know what? It's sassy, like you just got, because you got your certificate now, you're just sassy. I like it.
I know. I can't even, I'm still, like, I'm trying to stop saying that I'm in shock, but I truly am still in shock. Like, it's just been, it's been really, yeah. You ladies know. I mean, it's just been amazing. So.
Yay! So that's what we'd like to talk to you about today. What we'd like to talk about as far as we can start with the readings and then we'll go into the program, but just ask a couple of questions for people who've never either had a reading before or who have never experienced a reading from both of us, from with both of us together like this. So what would you say would be your experience as far as like when you first had a reading from us? Like, what was it? Let's just ask in general. What did you think about your reading? We'll ask that, and then maybe we'll get into some specifics later.
So the first reading that I had with you ladies, like when I left after the reading was done and over, I left there with no doubt in my mind that you had communicated and validated for me with my loved ones that were on the other side. I had no doubt in my mind at all. When I logged off of the computer and I was finished, I was like, wow, that was amazing and incredible. And seriously, I was mind blown. And it took me, time. I played it over and over again in my head and talked about it with my friends. And I mean, you guys know how much I adore you ladies, and I tell everybody that I know, you have to sit down with these ladies and do a reading, because seriously, it's going to knock your socks off, especially my friends and family who are really struggling or who may be struggling with certain things going on in their lives, that just that, I have a hard time putting it into words, because it was truly amazing and like seriously has changed my life.
Thank you, honey. Would you say there were specific things that were brought up that we wouldn't be able to find out by Googling or looking something up or something like that? Like what would
Yes, absolutely. And from more than one of my loved ones, there were a lot of specific things that came up that that there was no way you would have known. Absolutely no way you would have known. Mm-mm. And then, I mean, this might be getting a little ahead, but after my first reading, you guys know I've done more than one reading with you guys, but after my first one, I had a conversation with my grandmother in my head, didn't speak anything out loud, and just said, because she came through in my first reading and validated who she was. And so I said to her, Grandma, that was really cool, but I thought you would have brought up this one other thing, like something that was like super specific between her and I. And I don't know if you remember, Connie, but it was my grandmother and I had the little engine that could. I think I can. Yes. And so my second reading was it was less focused on, my loved ones on the other side, and more focused on, you guys were helping me through with my mother-in-law who was in the process of passing. And I was really focused on her and like what the other side could help me with to help her. And so in the middle of us talking about, what was happening with my mother-in-law and the things that were going on the other side that I didn't know was going on the other side, because obviously I I'm not there. I can't see. I don't know. But there's jobs going on the other side. And in the middle of that, Connie, you stopped and said, why do I keep hearing a choo-choo train? So my grandmother coming through again and validating that she heard me. Those words never came out of my mouth. Like, that was a conversation that I had in my head with my grandmother, and there's no way, and no one could have known that, like, no way. But she came through and in a big way, and I was just like, I lost it. I started crying. I'm like, oh my God, because she had validated before, but now, like, she, like, truly validated again. It was just like, it just honestly couldn't have gotten any better.
I think I do remember that, because I remember even saying something about it reminds me of the little engine that could. Yep. And I think you even had the book of it. You said you had the book.
Yes, that was exactly it. Yes.
Yeah.
And you said it's like the little engine that could, like, I think I can shoot, and then that was exactly what my grandmother used to say. Those were the exact words. And it was just, it just blew me away. And I cried.
We cry too. We cry right with everyone.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is sometimes we will hear songs, but we tell people to don't ask for something specific, because sometimes I may have just had a reading with you, and then the next time I may hear it again, thinking it may be carryover from last time, so I may not say it. Or sometimes they're projecting at the same time and we don't get it. Or it could be that it's one of our symbols, so we may not even realize that that's something specific that they're looking for. So we always say to let go of that. So a lot of times they will bring it forward in ways like that, or different ways.
Because I totally wasn't expecting it. I didn't say, Grandma, bring this forward the next time. I didn't ask her to. It was just that, Grandma, it was funny that you didn't mention that, because, like, truly, if you wanted to validate, like, like, really something, I mean, what she did validate was specific, but it, it still could have been like, it was like she brought up the diamond necklace that I have of hers, which then who doesn't have a diamond necklace from their grandmother, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I don't.
So a lot of people might. I'm thinking a lot of people might, but you know what I mean. I just thought that could have been a vague thing, but I got it. I knew it was my grandmother, and then just that conversation, like I said, that I had with her later that day, like, funny you didn't bring that up, Grandma. That would have been really cool if you did. And then I let it go. It's not like I asked her, bring this up the next time or whatever, because my next reading was not focused on really talking about anything specific. You guys knew I needed something specific and you gave it to me, but, like, it was focused more on what am I supposed to be doing right now in this moment with my mother-in-law who was passing away. And you guys really, like, gave me that insight from the other side that so many people don't get. You don't get that stuff. Like, I'll probably cry, but you don't get that stuff. Like, the everyday person just doesn't get that stuff. You guys have such an ability and such a power with what you do that it's like I said, people going through that, because I'm not the only person who's ever cared for someone who's passing away, right? But to have you guys walk with me through that was huge. It was so huge for me, because, again, the ability to have that input from the other side, and that trust that I have with you ladies, because you have validated things so many times over and over for me. That relationship that we have, where I know that you guys are not fooling around. Like, this is real. This is the good stuff. Like, this is good stuff, And I talk about you ladies, I swear, every day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, every day. And yeah, it's pretty amazing.
how would you say, like, has it helped you heal at all? Like, was there anything of healing that would take place?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, because well, and especially after my mother-in-law passed, that was big. And I think, I've had my daughters sit in with me a couple of times, and I think that for them even it's helped to know that, she's still with you, even though physically she's not here. The love that she has for you, that she's always had for you, is still here, and she has not left you. She's not gone. So, yes.
Awesome. Go ahead, Twink. Is there anything you'd like to ask?
I love it. I'm just like, I love you, Amy. You're so cute.
Oh, I love you guys.
Thank you. No, really, it's and I remember too, because I remember you were having a hard time. So sometimes when we do readings at first too, we'll ask spirit to help you bring forward what it is that you need for that time or that moment to be able to help you in whatever way it is. And you were also very open too to the messages.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that helps us to be able to bring forward messages from them when you are open. And some, like you said, it's so perfect too, because after a reading is usually when a lot of the healing really will take place, when people will start to put the pieces together, things will start to click and make more sense. Because sometimes during an actual reading, you're not thinking about all of those things or that other person, because your loved ones are not just coming forward for you.
Right.
There may be people that are going to come forward for other people to pass along messages. So, and I love the fact too of you having your daughters. I don't remember if it was someone else. I thought we did a couple. I know your daughter was in one of them.
Yep, I've had both of my daughters have been in with me at separate times.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that in and of itself is such a gift too, because it helps them to know, like you said, that there is a connection, that they can then talk to their loved ones, and that they're always around them. And then it helps them to notice and recognize the signs too.
Yes.
And so, was there anything for you that you felt was really shifted things for you, or really gave you not just that? And I know you had mentioned that too, about the train, because that was very unique and specific from your loved one. Was there anything that shifted your thoughts or your energy from then? Because I know you were really struggling with the losses, because there were several losses that you had. And for you to be here now, and for you to be having because I don't know if we mentioned that in the beginning too. Why don't you tell us what you got, what your certificate is?
So my certificate is actually my registered nurse license. And so when I was 18 years old, I graduated high school and I went right into college with the intention of becoming a registered nurse. So that was 30 years ago. I'm 48 years old now. And so that was 30 years ago. So in the process of being young and, just not being super focused on school, I stopped school. And then I had just started going back to school again when I met my husband, and we started dating. So then, in your early 20s and you're dating and you're working, and school it just wasn't a priority for me. Wasn't anything. It was something I always knew I wanted to do, but it just wasn't a priority. It wasn't something that I wanted to put all my energy in, I guess, at that time. So I met my husband and we got married. We were dating for only like 5 months when we got engaged, and then we got married a year after that. So things went really fast. And then, then life happens, right? You get married, you buy a house, then you have kids, and then, so my education has always just not been my main priority. So after our second daughter was born, I quit my job, and I was a stay-at-home mom for 10 years. And then in the process of the kids getting older and being in school full time and all day, and I'm sitting here as a stay-at-home mom going, I'm really kind of bored. You know, like there's only so many times I'm going to scrub the toilet and really feel satisfied. So, so I knew I needed to go back to school. And so I did while my kids were still at home and they were in, you know, in school full time. I went back to school and I said, well, I don't want to put 4 years into school, which is what I would need to do for my registered nurse license. So I went and did my licensed practical nurse, so my LPN. That was a 2-year program. So I did that. And then by the time the kids were in, you know, and then it was like, okay, well, I'm going to go back into the workforce because my kids are in school all day. So I got a job as an LPN, which I've been an LPN for 10 years now. And still in the middle of all of this, there's been something that has just kept that, you know, that little thing on your shoulder, or that something in my mind that says, listen, you haven't done what you really are supposed to do, or what you really had wanted to do. You haven't completed that yet. This isn't finished. So then I went back to school again, working full time, taking care of the kids, the husband, you know, doing the family thing. Went back to school again, but chose to do online school to get my LPN to my RN. And that was a seriously long process that was very difficult. It was very difficult. And so, yeah. And so again, difficult process, delaying things because of the school that I went to and all this stuff. So technically I've been out of school for three years probably, like haven't been physically in class for 3 years. So then try to move forward and take this licensing examination for, you know, for the state of Michigan, is like cramming 4 years of education into one test.
Mm-hmm.
So it was huge, it was big, it was stressful, and it was something that I did once before and failed. And then, you know, all that stuff happening in this last year kept postponing it even longer. So then the farther you get out from school, technically the harder it is to pass the test.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just, I felt like the more I thought about it, I really felt like the odds were truly against me in trying to pass this test. And I just thought, it's never going to happen. But I remember I've talked with you and Connie about it many times over the last year, like this test, and you guys kept telling me, you're going to pass this test when the time is right. Like you are going to pass it when the time is right for you. And so, yeah. And these mantras that have been coming up right through the Transform Your Life class, these mantras that have been coming up have just been huge for me. Like these, you know, in really like shifting my energy. Connie and Laura, I probably would have texted you too, but I didn't have your phone number. So I was texting Connie during all of that. You know, like I texted her, oh my gosh, Connie, I just took the test and I don't feel like I feel like I failed this test. And I actually left the test and I called my husband from the parking lot that day and I just bawled. I said, there's no way I passed this test, hon. I didn't pass this test. And I said, the worst part is now I have to go back into work on Monday because the test was on a Saturday. I have to go back into work on Monday and tell all my coworkers that I failed this again. I'm like, because it was my second time taking it. And I said, I cannot, like, I feel so dumb. Like, I do not want to go in there and tell them that I failed this test. And I don't want to do this a third time. Like, I just want this to be done and over with, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, it's going to be fine. Whatever happens, that's what's happened. And we'll just move forward and it's fine. So, okay. So when I got home, I texted Connie and she says, listen. She's like, listen, you you are having fear based on past experiences. And she flat out told me, she said, I'm seeing that you passed this test. But she said, you have to shift to that energy. And so that's what I did. I took her advice and I tried to like not let anything negative about this test creep into my thoughts. And if it was creeping in, I just had to shut it down. I'm like, nope, not going to go there. I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to. And so she had said, go look on Facebook. I just posted this millionaire. What was it, Connie? Millionaire.
The millionaire jingle.
Yeah. So I went in and looked at her millionaire jingle and I was like, okay, so that's what I'm going to do. And I made up my own little jingle. And it wasn't as long as Connie's millionaire jingle, and it probably wasn't nearly as cool. But but for 3 days, then that's what I did. Every time this negative thought kind of started creeping in that you didn't pass this test, there's no way you passed this test, it just didn't happen. I just, so my mantra was, I am a registered nurse taking care of people while they're on this earth. That was my mantra. So that's what I did for 3 days. And then I love it. And then she said too, expect a miracle, Amy. Just keep expecting a miracle and manifest that. So I did. I prayed and I'm like, listen, I know that you have not brought me this far and kept this desire going in me for 30 years to watch me fail this again. So I am expecting a miracle here because I know that my life has been in divine order. I know that things have happened the way that they were meant to happen, like my whole life. Like everything has happened exactly the way it was supposed to. And I've always believed that. So yes. So then on Monday, you could actually go online and you could get early results. So I was at work and I kept logging onto this website over and over and over again to get those results, but they weren't there. They weren't ready. And then it said 48 business hours. So I was like, okay, all right. So 48 business hours means I'm not going to get results till Wednesday because I took the test on Saturday. So I thought 48 business hours, stop looking at this website because you're just making yourself crazy. Just stop and go come back on Wednesday. So I did. I stopped for like an hour. And then there was this little voice in my head that said, just look, just one more time, just look. So I went, okay, one more time I'm going to look and that's it. And then I'm not looking until Wednesday. So I went on, I logged on and it said, your results are ready. You can purchase them. You have to pay like $8 to get those early results. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So then my heart's like, it's like up in my throat. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to purchase them. So the whole time that I'm like entering in all my information, my payment information, doing this, that, and the other thing, I just kept saying, I expect a miracle. I expect a miracle. I expect a miracle. And when I'm not shitting you, I pushed that button. It said submit and that thing flashed up and it said pass. And I was like, I was shocked. Again, I shouldn't have been shocked. I was expecting a miracle, right? And that's exactly what I got. But blew me away. Yeah.
Awesome. Very good. Yeah. And that's the key. It's shifting the energy. Expect a miracle. Yeah. I expect a miracle. You're not accepting it. The thing is, you have to not accept what you don't want, right? You don't want that. You're not accepting it. You're only accepting what you want. And that is it. As long as it's for your highest and greatest good, it's going to happen. But you have to have that energy, that the little choo-choo train that could. There you go. There's your grandma doing that one. Yeah. I know I can, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah.
Very good. Awesome.
There was one other little thing on that too. My daughter had given me for Christmas, she gave me these crystals. There was like 5 of them in a little box, and it it was like, it said Nurses Rock on it. And it was like crystals that were specific to nurses for helping them be grounded and different things like that. So when I went on Saturday to take that test, I took those crystals with me and I put them in my pants pocket. But when you go in for these tests, like, it's seriously a locked room, and they like shake you down, pat you down, check your nose, ears, eyes, every orifice you ever have on your body to make sure that you're not bringing anything into that room. So they made me take the crystals out of my pocket. And there was 5 of them, like I said, in that set. So I put them in my jacket pocket and I said, well, at least I know that they're here with me. They're not on me, but they're with me. So then I went in, I took the test, and when I came home, I went to grab the crystals out of my jacket, and there was only 4 of them in my jacket. And I went, oh no, I've lost one of them. And it was the clear quartz one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh no, I lost it. And that happened to be one of my favorite ones. And even though I don't really know exactly all the crystals yet, like, I'm still kind of learning about them, I wanted that one specifically. And I was like, well, darn it, I lost it. Well, I'll have to get another one. And then I'm like, well, let me just look in my pocket. Sure enough, that crystal, that clear quartz, stayed in my pocket and passed the inspection, and it went into that room with me to take that test. Crazy.
Not crazy.
See, everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. That's so great. Thank you,
Yeah.
Amy, for sharing that. That's awesome.
Uh-huh.
Good. Thank
Well, I was just gonna say the program that you're talking about. So Laura and I have the Transform Your Life program, which you also signed up for that.
Mhm.
So that's what you're talking about with the mantras and whatnot. So
Yes.
how do you feel that program is helping you? Do you feel it's helped you?
Absolutely, without a doubt. And it's truly helped me to really be able to, just like we've talked about, shift my energy and be be more of who I'm supposed to be. Like, and like really expanding, it's really expanding my view on just like the universe and the world around me. And just like you said, you have to manifest what you want, and then you don't accept anything that you don't want. As long as it's for your higher and greatest good, it's going to come to you. And sometimes it doesn't come in the exact time that we want or that we would hope for, but it comes in that divine timing. So sometimes it's, it might be a patience thing or whatever. You just have to wait a little bit longer, or something else has to happen to prepare you for that next, So yeah, this class has been huge for me. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Good. It reminds me of that Guns N' Roses song, Just a Little Patience.
you.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, well, good. Awesome. Is there anything that you would like to add that you can think of how anything has helped, or anything that between either the readings or the class?
The readings, if I could have a reading with you ladies every week, I would do it for real, because it's been gosh, yeah. Seriously, it's been life-changing for me, like, to know, well, and one thing it's done too is it's really kind of opened my eyes for the signs, and to be watching for the signs from loved ones. So that's always fun. I still get signs all the time from my mother-in-law, and I watch for them. I expect them now. I just expect, because I know that she's there, and I know she knows that it makes me happy when she does send me signs. So I'm watching all the time for them. And my sister-in-law, who, it was her mom that passed, I told her, I'm like, you have to watch. And she was like, I don't even know what to look for. Like, what do I look for? So part of, this class too has helped me to try to help others too. So I'm kind of liking, I like that too. The readings help me do that, but then the classes too. Like, it helps me to really, like, talk with people on a different level. It's different. It's weird. I guess I don't really know how to explain it, but it's a different level. It's a spiritual level. And I'm really digging that. Yeah.
So what you're saying is basically you're learning, but then what you're learning, you're helping others around you. So it's not even just helping you transform, you're transforming other people with what you learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's what we
Yes.
like. That's perfect.
Yes. And I steer them all your way. I want you to know that. Every one of them. Like you have to meet Connie and Laura. You have to.
And just to be clear, yeah, we're not relatives or anything like that, right?
No. I learned of you guys from wife of one of my coworker. She told me about you guys. Well, he did, because his wife was actually, you guys had come up to Marquette, and his wife was going to one of your, I don't know if you did like a group, you had some kind of a group thing at the Masonic building here in town, and she was going to that. Yeah. So that's how I learned about you guys. And I'm like, oh, well, I need to know more about these ladies. So that's how it started.
Awesome. Yeah. Anything else, Twink? Can you think of anything else?
I love your jingle. I think that you need to trademark that, Amy. So I think you need to create some more. I think throughout your days as being an RN, you're probably going to add to that and make new ones. Maybe you can help your patients with that too. Help, people that you're working with or whatever, but so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I feel like it's your loved ones as well. They were pushing you. And when you said that too, you felt to just check one more time. That's how your loved ones will talk to you. That's how that intuitive, that guidance, that's how it comes through, is hearing that just one more time. And you're like, okay, one more time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. But it took me like being okay in surrendering.
You're right.
Right. It took me surrendering first and just being okay with not doing it. Like I had to make up my mind. Okay, I'm okay not continuing to check this website, because I'm driving myself crazy. And it took me actually surrendering in that moment. And then, like I said, about an hour later, that little voice, just one more time. Just look one more time. Yeah.
You had to let go. You had to let go.
Yes.
And let it be whatever it was, but I loved how you changed your thought process about it, and you were catching yourself, and you were, saying mantras, and you were really noticing that and being like, okay, I got to change this and shifting it.
Yes.
I love that. It was so good.
And I could feel it. I could feel that happen. Like when I would stop, when Connie had said, this is fear, and this is, she's like, you have to shift your energy. When I did those things, I could feel the negative just fall away. Like it really was not, I just wasn't accepting it. So that was a really cool feeling, actually. To
so
just
proud of you.
It not even be a thing, because I just kept saying those positive things, and then the negative just didn't. It was almost like the negative just kind of repelled. It was the coolest thing ever.
You did that. Yay.
But with your help, ladies, it was amazing. Seriously, a highlight of my life. I
love it. And you know what else I love, honey, is the fact that you didn't even you had a calling, and you knew you had a calling. You knew you needed something more. You didn't okay, so you kind of almost, you didn't start over, but you started school later. So this is a great thing for other people to see.
Yes.
Your soul has no time frame.
Yep.
Of course I can't go back and be a Pistons player right now and play for the Pistons, but you
now
can
listen, Connie, you told me I'm amazing. I can be anything I want to be, and you can too.
That's true. Maybe I could be the mascot.
Right.
I'll be the mascot, right?
You could be a Pistons player.
Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I may not get paid for it, but no, I'm kidding. But yeah, but the whole point is just that
Yeah.
it's not letting that fear get to you and rewiring your brain to get to what you want and not what you fear. It's really removing the fear. So I love it.
Yes, and removing that fear was huge, because how many times in our lives do we really let that fear control us and really dictate what it is we're going to do, or when we're going to do it, or how we're going to do it, and that was really big for me.
And you didn't give up. You didn't give up. You could have,
Yeah.
but you didn't give up. You kept doing it and you kept going and you
Yes.
tried.
Yes.
You know, you tried and you went outside your comfort zone and you pushed through that fear and you did it anyway. And that is huge.
Yeah.
And look at the rewards.
I know. I can't even, like, and everybody keeps saying, okay, what are you going to do now? And I'm like, you know what? I've said, you know what, at this point, I'm just enjoying this moment for right now. I don't want to think about next week or next month, or, right now, I'm just enjoying this. And then now, since it's been a little over a week now, I'm like, okay, whatever is meant to be is going to be, and it's going to happen in the time frame that it's supposed to happen. And so I'm really just like opening myself up for the universe to present to me what it is that I'm supposed to be doing.
And you know it will.
And I absolutely know it will. Yes.
You're surrendering. You're just you're letting spirit guide, or the universe guide it to where it's going to be.
Yeah.
And it will. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great story, and of course we love it. I know when I saw that you passed, I started tearing up, and I started crying. I'm like, yes, she did it. I knew she could do it. We knew you could do it, honey. You just had to know that you could do it.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
all. With anything.
Yeah. Because you were so scared. You were like, it's been a while and I haven't, studied, and I need to really buckle down and study, and it's a lot. Yeah. But you know what? You did it. You did it, and you persevered, and you followed your intuition and reached out.
And the guidance of my medium angels.
I love it. Thank you. We're so proud of you. We're so happy.
I know.
Sometimes we tell people this stuff too, and you know what? It's that fear can still take over. So you went past that, truly, and you need to really give yourself credit for that, and acknowledge and recognize you did that. You went past that fear and you did something about it. You caught the fear and you started to change it. And you didn't let it stop you. And I know what you're talking about too, because you're, like you said, I was afraid that I was going to have to go back and tell people, that I didn't pass, or that that didn't work, and all of that. But it was like, no, you know what? I'm gonna keep trying. I'm gonna just try. I'm gonna let go. So it's a great story, not just for you, Amy, but for everybody who will watch too, and for your family, for your kids, for people who know you, and to be able to see that. It's very courageous. So to be really proud of yourself. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible. All right, anything else, Twink?
I do have a couple things that came through.